Hello and welcome to my NFL playoff predictions. This is the second scenario. So I made a video yesterday of my predictions basically. And then this is going to be not the most likely scenario or the least likely. This is just, the Cowboys are in the playoffs, so this is virtually the least possible scenario. But I just tried to get as many teams or as many different scenarios as possible. Like last time, we had the Broncos as the 1 seed. Now the Patriots are the 1 seed. We had the Niners as 1 seed. Now the Rams are. So let's find out. Last video, I had Texans Niners as the Super Bowl. So this time, let's find out if I'll have the same because they're both in the playoffs. They're just the 2 7 seeds now. So let's find out if they can still make the Super Bowl. So Bills Steelers, kind of just like last round, it was Bills Ravens, which so I still have obviously somebody in the AFC North is going to get the 4 seed. There's no doubt about it. It's either going to be the Ravens or the Steelers, and the Chargers could get the 5 seed. Any team still can really, but I think it's most likely going to be the Bills. So I'm still going to have them there, but I'm going to have them beating the Steelers. They're just the better team. And then Broncos, Chargers. This is a tough one. I'm going to take the Broncos. The Chargers are at home in this game, which will make it a little bit more challenging, but we saw how they played against the Eagles. It was a bad game. The Eagles have a pretty good defense. The Chargers struggle with that, and the Chargers would have lost that game if not for Jalen Hurts shitting himself everywhere. So, therefore, I think the reason why I'm so confident in the Broncos is because of how they played against the Packers. If we take that game out of the equation, then I'd take the Chargers at home every day of the week. But that game really showed me that the Broncos could have an explosive offense when they need to have it. It's just most of the time their defense can get it done. So I'm going to take the Broncos. Texans, Jaguars. I don't know. I'm going to take the Jaguars at home. I'm going to take the upset. I know I just had the Texans in the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl, but I feel like if there's one team the Texans don't want to see in the playoffs, it's the Jaguars. If they're at home, then maybe that's a different story. But the Jaguars are just such an inconsistent team on both sides of the equation, just like the Panthers are. Like the Panthers are super good at home and then super bad away. They lost to the Saints and they beat the Rams. It doesn't make any sense. Jaguars are the same way. Yes, it was the Jets. They put up 40 points against the Jets, and that's not really that impressive. But still, I think that the Jaguars can really turn it on when they have to, and it's probably going to be pretty hot in Florida. The weather, we won't even talk about the weather because it's going to be hot in Texas too, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I feel like I like the Jaguars if they're playing at home. Seahawks, Panthers. This is an interesting game. I'm going to take the Panthers at home. I'm going to take the upset here. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about the same way they beat the Rams. I think the Seahawks and Panthers are pretty equal teams. I like the Seahawks defense more. The Seahawks are the more consistent team. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm switching my pick. Uh, Only because the Seahawks remind me of the Broncos, as in they rely on their defense to win most of the time. But if they don't, yeah, or if they can't rely on their defense, then they'll just play a shootout, which is what every team wants to do. They want their defense to win it for them so their offense doesn't have to risk getting injured throwing the ball 80 yards every play. But we've shown that it's really hard to stop the Seahawks offense when they need to start playing good. The Colts game was a good example of all they needed to do was play good on defense and get field goals. But today, Thursday, we'll see how the Rams-Seahawks game goes, because I think it's going to be a shootout because the Seahawks defense is not going to be able to stop the Rams offense. So I guarantee that this is going to be like a 34-28 shootout. And the Seahawks will probably win it. They're not at home in this game, but both teams play outside. So both teams are used to bad weather. It really just depends on who wants to show up for the Panthers, kind of like the Jaguars. But I'm going to trust Seattle's defense to get it done. Really, the problem is I don't trust the Panthers' defense to stop Njigba. That's the main concern I have here. But could it happen? Yeah. Cowboys, Bears. Yeah, this is the scenario where I don't have the Eagles making it, because this could happen. The Eagles need to lose out, which probably won't happen, but this is definitely a realistic scenario that can happen. The Cowboys can still make the playoffs. Playing the Bears is definitely an interesting matchup. I think that the Bears don't want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs. I actually like the Bears this season, but the Cowboys have shown that they're really good when they play at home. The only reason, my only concern really, is that George Pickens has been going downhill ever since week 13 or something. So that's why it's kind of rough for me, but I can imagine if the Cowboys make the playoff, George Pickens is going to actually try. So I like the Bears offense, I like the Bears defense, but Cowboys at home, I'm just trusting home field advantage here, really. Also, Cowboys are playing in a stadium. I mean, this is kind of similar to this matchup, too. They're both 6 seed versus 3 seed. Both home teams play in a dome. Both away teams play without a roof. But I don't know. I'm feeling Cowboys for some reason. Niners, Packers, a classic matchup. I'm going to take the Packers. I feel like injuries, it depends on how the Niners, if they get the 1 seed, then obviously it's an easier path. It just depends on the path that they go. But if they have to go to Lambeau and it's snowing, that they've proven they could win those games before. But that's also when we had a really good defense and we had Nick Bosa and we had the top defense in the league. With a defense, our defense isn't bad, but still, a defense like this, playing the Packers without Micah Parsons, so that gives us more of a chance. But I don't know. I feel like, especially with this crazy season, I feel like the times are changing a little bit. We're going to start seeing the Packers actually win in the playoffs. Divisional round, Bills, Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jaguars. I don't know. I'm kind of, if the Jaguars get a high seed like the 2 seed, I mean, yes, that's what seeding is for. If you have a higher seed, you have an easier path to the playoffs, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like I especially like them against the Bills. I feel like matchup wise, the Jaguars match up really well against the Bills. Texans, not as much. I really only just took them because of how inconsistent the Jaguars are. And yes, if we were talking about inconsistency, then technically they would lose this game. But I think they match up well against the Bills. The Bills have also proven to be not that great this season. They did come back and beat the Patriots, but they had to come back in that game. The Bills aren't the team of previous years. The Bills of previous years would get out to a pretty commanding lead and just keep pushing your face in the dirt. Just keep running. But these Bills aren't the same. They have to actually, they're going to be in a deficit, and then they're going to have to pass and just pray that they can score enough points to beat the other team because they're already in a hole by the second half. And I think I trust the Jaguars defense to just hold on, just maintain that lead. Because realistically, if these two teams play and the Jaguars at home, I expect the Jaguars 100% to get out to maybe not a commanding lead, but at least like a 14-0 lead. and I trust their defense to just maintain that throughout the game. Broncos, Patriots. I don't know. This is a tough one. These are like the two teams that people expected them to be good, but not this good. So this is a really interesting matchup, especially with the Patriots at home. Oh man, I don't know. This is a rough one. I'm gonna take the Patriots at home. I don't know. I really can't think right now. Like I said, these teams are just too even. I like the Broncos defense more than I like the Patriots defense. But the Patriots offense, they're showing out. I think the Patriots have a better run game. I just think in Foxborough, if the Patriots can just run all over them. I'm just thinking of the Patriots team of the past where it's just run, 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 and the Patriots won't even have to pass because their defense will just do the job. So I don't know. I feel like this is a 50-50 matchup. New England's at home. That's the main reason why I'm taking them. Cowboys, Packers. I think this is the easiest pick of the video for me. The Packers dominate the Cowboys every time in the playoffs. I don't even have to think about that with a second thought. Rams, Seahawks, another pretty easy one. If the Rams get home field advantage, like I said earlier, basically every team is cooked. So then we have Jaguars, Patriots, and Packers, Rams. Jaguars, Patriots. Patriots are at home. This is a classic AFC championship right here. The Jaguars should have made the Super Bowl that year that Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl. Should have been Eagles, Jaguars, but anyway. I don't know. Patriots are at home. I'm going to take the Patriots. I know it's kind of boring, but like I said, it's going to be cold. The Jaguars are a Florida team. They're not used to the cold. They also aren't the greatest at stopping the run. I feel like I'm thinking about the Patriots of the past, but they kind of are. Good defense, great run game. I don't know. And they're at home in this game. It's going to be cold. And then I'm going to take the Rams at home. I said this in the last video, so that was already kind of a spoiler. If the Rams get home field advantage, they're beating every team. It's just, yeah, the Packers stand no chance. Packers are at home, then that's a different case. But then we have the Super Bowl rematch of the 2019. I really hope we don't get this Super Bowl. This would be a very, yeah, I do not want no more 13-3 Super Bowls. I don't think it would be 13-3. I think it'd be more entertaining, but I'm gonna have the Rams winning the Super Bowl. Like I said, this isn't as interesting just because the Rams are just. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. There's just a couple teams that they don't want to see in the playoffs, especially if they're the away team. Because look at all these teams that play outside, basically all of them, excluding the Cowboys, who probably won't even make the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, if the Rams have to travel to Chicago or Green Bay or Seattle, then they might lose. But if they get home field advantage, then yeah. So that's it for this video. We might